In elementary school, I think I was in the 6th grade, my PE teacher, his family started fostering, and that was the first I had ever heard about fostering. I honestly didn't even know that fostering was a thing. I just really got hooked on it. I really wanted my parents to do it.
When Megan gets something in her head, she's really strong-willed.
I just thought it'd be really fun to have like a little kid running around here, and so I started mentioning to my parents. At first they were just like, no, like we've got too much stuff going on. They just kind of like blew it off, but I just wouldn't let up.
We had talked about it a lot, but we just couldn't get on the same page at the same time with it.
I would say, let's do this, and she would have some reservations. And then she would say, I think we're ready to do this. And then I'd say, well, I don't know, think about everything. And
I started watching like YouTube videos just about like foster care in the system. So then I would Google foster care statistics. The numbers were just insane. I didn't realize there were that many kids out there that just did not have a place to go. It was just definitely something God laid on my heart, and I just really wanted to help someone else that needed a family and needed some love.
She was playing Jenga, and I had told her, pick up all these blocks and put your mess up, and I had came back in there in the kitchen table. She'd taken all of them and wrote out foster across the kitchen table. So she would like leave all these little messages around the house,
Just laying guilt trips on us, why can't we do that? We should be doing that. Is there any reason?
And I just would not stop bothering them. Like every single day I was just on it, just talking about it constantly. I just wanted something to like kind of get all my thoughts together in one thing to present to my parents. We've been doing PowerPoints at school and stuff for different presentations, so I was like, oh, I can just do one for this. So I just kind of put all the information on there and I would just email it to them.
I wake up, I see an email's come through from Meg, and I'm like, what is this? I open it up and it's this entire PowerPoint on foster care and why you should foster. It was, a lot of information.
One day I was going to school and I just was bugging my mom with it like every other day, and I was telling her like, we have to do it, we have to do it.
And she said, I bet you can't give me one good reason why we shouldn't do it. And I said, Meg, I'm just scared we're not strong enough to, love someone like that and know we have to send them home. And she turned back around at me and said, well, it's not about you, Mom, and slammed the door. It still kind of makes me want to cry because she was right.
Sure.
That was the day we called Angels.
Once we completed the steps and it was official, we were really excited, waiting by the phone.
I was just like thrilled. I was so excited. I just could not wait to get like a kid into our house.
And then Sandy, our caseworker, she called. She said, I've got a little boy who's 6.5 who needs a home. I'm gonna send you a picture. And so of course I look at it and I'm like, of course we're gonna take him.
He just had this like big grin on his face, and I was like, oh, like we have to like take him to our house.
Jaden was on our door like just a few hours later. It really is like you see on a movie. He's standing on the front porch with his little bag, and we're like fighting tears and like lump in your throat.
And he came running in here like he owned the house.
And Jaden just ran and jumped on me and my brother. I just fell in love with him right then. He just became like part of the family instantly.
When his dad came in the picture and we saw what a decent man he was, and he'd been working, paying child support, all the things you're supposed to do. It was really a blessing.
He's the most gentle soul. It was neat to see him fight so hard for his kid, because he really had to go through a lot of stuff. As time went on, it looked as if Jaden's dad was gonna get custody of Jaden again.
We started getting excited for Jaden, really, and Jerome.
He'll grow up knowing that he had a dad that really fought really hard for him.
Right before Jaden went back home, we started meeting up with Jaden's dad and his girlfriend, and then we eventually met her 2 kids too. And I was kind of like a babysitter, and so I just became really close with the boys, with Alex and Keyshawn and Jaden.
Her boys had been in foster care before. Her oldest, Keyshawn, his foster mom was Ellen.
Yeah, we had Keyshawn placed in our home when he was 2.5. And we all became just kind of like support for them. And then when some things happened that the boys were taken out of her home again, she had identified us as her support for Keyshawn. And she identified Lindsay actually for her support for Alex. And then that's how the boys kind of got to be in both of our homes.
Obviously, sibling separation is not the goal. You always want the brothers to stay together, but in this instance, because of Keyshawn's relationship with the Coles, and then Alexander, his relationship with us had built, everybody saw that it really was the best for the boys.
When Alex first came to us, he was really timid, and it's kind of been funny to see as time's gone on, you know, he's starting to get real hyper and sassy. His little personality's coming out.
But we really make a lot of effort to keep these boys close, and we enjoy it. Like, it's not like it's work. They're great boys, they're super fun, and they're both very much connected in each one of our families. It's really evolved into a sweet friendship. We really love them. It's kind of fun.
Our families have become, I mean, we aren't just friends, we are family, and we get them together a lot, every week. Unfortunately, their biological mom disappeared.
After a long process, eventually they adopted Keyshawn and we adopted Alexander.
We did kind of a joint adoption. So it was a really big day, and it's a day that we celebrate with the Coxes as their adoption day. We kind of recognize that as one of our big holidays with them, that we always get together and make it a big deal with the boys. It's been a fun journey with them.
Alex and Keyshawn both just have a lot of life and personality, and I don't know, they're gonna be world changers. I always tell Keyshawn, like, you're gonna make a difference, man.
Coming to all this at the end, like, I wouldn't have believed it. I mean, it really could only be orchestrated by God, the entire thing. I mean, from start to finish. God did give us the most persistent human being on the face of the earth and knew that we needed her to give us the push that we finally needed.
The goal is to reunify with the bio family, and I mean, we've had both perspectives of it, with Alex adopting him and then with Jaden going back to his dad. And you know, Jaden is a success story.
The bottom of her PowerPoint, it said something like, you may not be able to change the world, but for one child, you can change their world. And it's not just their world. I mean, it changes my world, his world, our kids' world.
One little silly PowerPoint, if you really follow it and who it all impacted. With our kids, the Coles kids, it just reaches everybody.
It's like we've got just like this huge family. It's made my family so much better. I just cannot imagine Alex and Jaden and Keyshawn not being in my life now.